In most of his video games, Mario is a bit of a goody two-shoes, whether it's adventuring to save kidnapped friends and princesses, or staying true to the spirit and the rules of the many sports that he turns his hand to. Not football though. While there are many millions of people that will complain endlessly about football and the unfairness of the sport whenever their favourite team loses a match on the weekend, Mario Strikers Battle League Football is turning up and figures that it knows best in how to improve the sport without even a hint of using VAR. The football in Mario Strikers is no holds barred action. There's no referee to spoil the fun here, so there's no point in rolling around on the floor clutching at your shin. Players will go into matches kitted out in hefty American sports style armour, and there's not even the offside rule with which to confuse newcomers. It's basically five-a-side football, but you're trying to deal as much physical harm to the opposition as possible. Now, I personally never played Mario Strikers on the Wii or the GameCube, but it's immediately clear that Battle League Football draws on the rich vein of gameplay and ideas from Mario Strikers Charged, just from having a little glance at some gameplay videos online. You play on a much smaller feeling pitch than in that game, but it's still got rounded corners like it's an ice hockey ring, and it's bounded by an electric fence that will zap anyone that gets brusquely shoved into it. The controls are easy to pick up, as you'd expect from a Nintendo sports game, but there's real depth here thanks to the team play that you need to embrace. Passing the ball back and forth and getting off a quick shot is easy enough, but the AI-controlled Boom Boom in each goal is more than good enough to stop these relatively weak shots. No, the trick is to time your button presses for passing to just the moment when the ball hits your feet for a little bit of a tiki-taka one-touch passing. And the same is true for shooting, where this will power up your shot a little bit. Alternatively, you can charge up your shot by holding the shoot button and, so long as you're not tackled before letting it loose, send a much more powerful and potentially directed shot at goal. Yes, this means that we come to defending, and this is really where we get to see how Mushroom Kingdom's denizens feel about each other, flying kicks to the face and all. Again, there's a bit of timing to get right here, because yes, you want to clatter into the opposition and nick the ball, but you can build up to a charged tackle that dashes forward and knocks them much harder. Artful dodging for the player that's got the ball is even trickier to master in my experience, but it's a must if you intend to play this competitively online. And then we get to the silly stuff. There's item boxes, which are occasionally thrown onto the pitch, sometimes colour-coded to a particular team, and granting a bunch of Mario Kart-style pickups for anyone that manages to pick them up. You've got bob-ombs, shells, giant banana peels, which I'm not really sure Nintendo have thought about the connotations of, and more which can be grabbed and used. There's also the Hyper Strike Orb, which powers up your team for around 20 seconds and lets you unleash a character-specific ultimate shot at goal. You have to charge it up with a golf game style multi-tap input to set the power and the accuracy, but again you need to have time and space to pull this off, because while you're winding up to shoot, the opposition could try to interrupt you. It's tense trying to get that shot off, but you're rewarded with bombastic cinematic and then daft nonsense like Peach shooting a heart-shaped shot at goal, the defending player then having to furiously tap A to try and save the shot. Oh, and Hyper Strike goals are worth 2, and considering that that rule isn't even sacred, it won't surprise you that a bunch of the player characters will happily just pick up and slap the ball with their hands. Now, while I'm not particularly great at this game, and I lose all of the matches that I play against another human player from our preview event, I can say that it's a lot of chaotic fun. Trying to string passes together and leading up to attempts of goal is really quite rewarding, and if you're playing against another person instead of the AI, there's all the kinds of football game chat and banter that you can expect. There's a relatively small and concise set of Mario game characters to choose from. It's basically just the core characters that appear in all of these Mario sports games, but there's good variety to their various attributes, in addition to having wildly different animations. Peach trying to tackle Bowser will pretty much just see her bounce off him unless she's charged up her strike. All of this is then before you consider the different armor pieces that you can unlock and the team kits that you get to choose before playing. It's not the broadest range of gear, with just a few common sets shared between them all, but they tweak those attributes and can lean into slightly different playstyles. Finally, I just want to give a little shout out to Boom Boom, who's trying his best, really. He will pull off wonder save after wonder save, but then he'll let himself down with the decision making of an exuberant puppy when closing down an attacker and trying to get a foot first tackle in. That's not really how you're meant to play as a goalkeeper, mate. Mario Strikers Battle League Football is a lot of fun. It tears up the football rulebook and it concocts a bombastic pseudo-sport that wouldn't be out of place in a 1970s sci-fi dystopia movie. The game is coming out on Nintendo Switch on the 10th of June 2022, so you won't have much longer to wait in order to play it. But before then, you've also got the First Kick demo, which is available to try and play in the first weekend of June, just before launch. Head over to thesixthaxis.com for all of the details on that. That's all that we've got for this video, and before you go, I'd like to ask you to do all of the usual YouTube things. So click the like button, the subscribe, the bell icon to get notifications, and hopefully we will see you again soon. Goodbye.
Ha 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 ha!